Well, welcome back, everyone. You know, there's the big game this weekend with the Ohio State Buckeyes, and you know that team up north. And maybe Lindsey Gallagher can talk about maybe the Buckeyes and something else.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, yes. Well, thanks for having me on this morning. I hope you had an excellent Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone at home had a lovely Thanksgiving. And usually that does mean it's time to put the Christmas tree up, the tunes are on, the Christmas movies. But if you're a college football fan living here in Ohio, you know that there's something very important that happens the Saturday after Thanksgiving, and that is that big game with Ohio State and that team up north. So I'm not going to talk football with you, but I'm going to give a naturalist perspective on the game this morning to see what happens when an Ohio State Buckeye comes up against a Wolverine. So we're going to start out with the home field advantage and talk a little bit about the Ohio State Buckeyes. So here in Ohio, we have two species of Buckeye tree that are native to the state. We have yellow Buckeye that are down in the southeast portion of the state and along the Ohio River. And then we have Ohio Buckeye throughout much of the rest of the state, as well as the Midwest. And the Ohio Buckeye is actually our state tree symbol here in Ohio. Both of those species are very similar. They both have compound palmate leaves, so they have 5 leaflets arranged like a finger, beautiful showy flowers in the spring, and then they have these husks where the nut-like seed, the Buckeye, actually grows in. And that's kind of the main difference between the two, how I can tell the two species apart. Yellow Buckeye have larger, smoother husks, and then the Ohio Buckeye have very small, spiny husks. And I do have a bowl of Buckeyes right here, and you can see that is the nut-like seed that comes out of that husk. There's usually 1 to 3 in a husk at a time, rarely more than 3. And they are very dark brown. They're kind of shiny. And then they have a pale spot in the middle, like a scar. That's where the Buckeye was attached to the parent plant. And they get that name because they resemble a buck's eye. The eye of a male deer, if that looks like that to you.
Yeah, it just looks like candy to me.
Well, no, that's a very important thing that we got to talk about, because these are much different than those peanut butter and chocolate treats that we are eating. Buckeye seeds, as well as all other parts of the plant, are toxic to humans and most other wildlife. The only exception seems to be the squirrel, and scientists are really not sure why they are able to eat them. All right, now moving on to that team up north. We won't name any names here, but their mascot is the Wolverine, and we have this beautiful Wolverine mount from local artist and taxidermist Carol Daniels that's on loan for us this morning. It's a beautiful specimen, and I just have this fun fact I have to share before anything else. Did you know that the Wolverine is the largest terrestrial weasel on the planet?
I did know that.
We might have chatted about that, but that's amazing. A weasel, can you think of it? But if you take a look at the mount, you can see it has a very long tube-like body. They can be 20 to 40 pounds. Males are gonna be bigger than females, and they have these long bushy tails. So with the tail added on there in the length, they can be like to 4 feet long.
Wow.
This one looks beautiful. She did an excellent job, so it looks kind of cute. But weasels and wolverines, they do have that reputation of being kind of ferocious, if you've heard of that, kind of like out for blood or always on the lookout for a hunt. And that's kind of a bad reputation. We say that wolverines are opportunistic carnivores. So they are ranging over these really vast, barren areas. They have very large home ranges. They're solitary. So whenever they have an opportunity to make a kill, they will make it. But more often, they are scavenging carcasses, as you can see there. So they're not going to be chasing off bears. They're not going to be chasing off wolves. They are just being very strategic, I should say. They're very intelligent, very inquisitive, strategic about where their meal is coming from. And I should mention that the scientific name for Wolverine is gulo gulo. It actually means glutton. So Linnaeus, who named them, was noting that behavior. So I do want to point out as well that you're not going to find any of these wolverines in that state up north. They haven't been there for even the last 200 plus years. Wolverines are native to very, very cold areas of our planet. So up in the northern reaches of Canada, in Europe, in Russia. There are some in Alaska, and there are very few left in the lower 48. They actually are threatened with, listed as threatened within the last year here. So there are a few that are out in the west and the Pacific Northwest. But what does this all have to do with the game coming up? Take from it what you will, and at the very least, you'll have some interesting nature facts to share with your football family.
All right, well, Lindsey, thank you so much for coming in today. Beautiful animals, beautiful nut. All right, well, don't go away because we want to return.